Suffolk University Boston Globe poll out last week took a look at how Bay State voters feel about a number of topics: 2020 Democratic candidates, issues like education and transportation.
Jon Keller sits down with the pollster behind it.
Good morning. Glad you could join us. Now, political polls can be controversial. We know that, and the old cliche is true. Any poll is just a snapshot of that particular moment. But when one of the most widely respected and accurate polls in the country comes up with interesting results, like the latest Suffolk poll for the Boston Globe did, we think it's worthy of your attention. And so we're talking about it with the pollster in question, David Paleologos, director of the Suffolk University Political Research Center. David, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you as well. So, this past week's MBTA derailment and the ensuing nightmare commute for many people, probably going to continue for a while. That has obviously upped the pressure on Governor Baker and the legislature regarding the pace of MBTA improvement, regarding more transit funding. The usual suspects are once again clamoring for a gas tax hike and other tax hikes.
Sure.
In the past, your polling has shown that while people are anxious and upset about T-service, they don't blame Baker for it and they support his efforts to fix it. Do you think that can hold up?
I do. The poll shows a couple of interesting statistics. Number one, 61% of respondents said the traffic and their daily commute has gotten worse over the last 5 years. That's a powerful negative number for any potential governor. But on the flip side, 2/3 of voters would like to see Charlie Baker run for a third term. So you have, and by the way, we were not in the field when the red line derailment happened. If we were, that number might have been even higher than 61%. So yeah. A lot of dissatisfaction in Massachusetts with transportation and travel.
I mean, it was one thing when, Baker came in the winter of 2015, the snowpocalypse winter.
Sure.
And not only was he not blamed for it, but there was broad public support for his efforts to fix things. But it's now coming up on 5 years later. How long can he go before the toxicity of this starts to slop over on him?
It's really tough to say. Yeah. I mean, I thought in year 2 and 3 things would get a little bit bumpy, but he's had sky-high favorability for 5 consecutive years, and there were only 11% registered Republicans in Massachusetts. Yeah. So he's kind of adopted the unenrolls as part of his party. Unenrolls make up 54% of the state. But when I looked at that deserve a third term number, my first question to myself was, well, which party doesn't want him to seek a third term? Yeah. Democrats, 59% want. Republicans, 69% want. Independents, 71% want. So, it's pretty widespread that people feel good about Charlie Baker right now.
Dave, you've seen it all over the years. Just speculating here, what's his secret?
I think the fact that he's a nonpartisan manager is very important. I mean, governor is a good match for Charlie Baker because he's not a grandstander. He's viewed very popular, and he's not partisan. You drop him into a U.S. Senate race or a congressional race, I think things get a little bit dicey because in Congress and in Washington, D.C., people want somebody that's going to, that's going to criticize the opposition party. That's not Charlie Baker.
And no drama at a time when there's so much political drama, and it can become annoying at times.
Absolutely, and we've had that in Massachusetts for offices for Senate and Congress.
Wow. Another big headline coming out of your poll was that 58% of the public say they'd be willing to pay more in state taxes to increase funding for low-income districts where student achievement has been lagging. 54% of suburban voters said they'd be willing to accept less funding for their schools, if that would help.
Right.
How does that square with the overwhelming suburban vote and statewide vote against lifting the charter school cap of a few years ago?
They're not exactly the same issue, but you also have a roaring economy right now in Massachusetts. People are advertising help wanted ads everywhere. So if you want a job, you have a job in Massachusetts. And I think people with more money in their pocket, they see education as a valued investment. And, more people are willing to either sacrifice their own district or to pay more in state taxes to make things more equitable in terms of education in Mass.
Interesting. All right. We'll continue our conversation about the latest Suffolk poll in a moment. So please stay with us.